We're talking about understanding gold today. First, let me tell my, hold on, you know what? Let me go back. Let me go back and share my experience with gold before I even go to the PowerPoint. So, gold is very volatile. Um, gold has kicked my butt plenty of times, and it had gotten to the point where I told myself, I'm taking this off the screen. I don't even want to look at gold. I don't want to talk about gold. My best friend who trades a lot with me, his name is Chris. And, I'll say, how much money you made today? And he'll say, 1,100, 1,200, $800. And I'm like, okay, cool. What did you trade? And he'll say gold. And I'm like, you know, and then one time he, told me to hop in gold because gold is not really like something I normally trade. But one time he texted me like, hop in gold, buy gold. I don't know if it was a buy or sell, but he was just like, hop in gold. So I hopped in, I got in, and then I just see my account going down, 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 down. So I was like, what is going on? I text him later and I was like, what happened with gold? He was like, what you talking about? I won. And I'm like, I didn't win. He was like, why not? When did you get in when I told you to? I was like, yes. He was like, how long after I told you to get in, did you get in? I was like, about 3 minutes. He was like, 3 minutes? That's a long time on gold. And I was just like, oh my God. So gold has kicked my butt a couple of times. It has made me blow my account a couple of times. So I was just like, I have a love-hate relationship with gold now. But this week, I'm happy to say that I actually profited from gold. And also, I've been learning, just practicing the strategies that I've been studying and learning. So I'm just excited about that. So this week, that's what I'm going to share with you all. I'm going to share with you how to be profitable on gold or really any pair, anything that you're trading. So now I'm going to go back to my screen. All right, so again, this is beginning training video number 6. We're going to talk about how to understand gold's price action. What I'm going to explain really can be applied to anything that you're trading. But again, I just told you all my story about gold, and I'm excited to share it with you. But I do want you to know that gold, you got to practice first. Gold is highly volatile, as I said. So this is for educational purpose only. I'm not giving you financial advice. Always manage your risk. And what else did I say? Just be careful when trading gold. A lot of people um, who are successful, a lot of people that you see on YouTube, they trade gold, and it can really give you a lot of money in a lot of time, but you can also lose as well. So again, what I'm telling you, it can be applied to everything. All right. So today we're going to talk about what gold is. We're going to talk about how to measure gold, how it moves as far as dollars versus points versus percentages. We're going to talk about the symmetrical triangle, which is what helped me this week to be profitable on gold. We're going to talk about why trading inside the triangle is risky, confirmation, context, and entries. I'm trying to move this out the way. How can I just, and okay, that's better. And risk management. And I don't know if you guys can see that, but you guys are like, I can see your pictures, and it was kind of blocking me from being able to read the screen. So, risk management, protecting your cash. That's my new slogan, guys. If you're going, you might hear me say that a lot. Protect your cash. So you'll hear me talk about that a lot more. And I already did a video on risk management. So we want to protect the funds that we have before we even try to add to our capital. So this is me. I started trading in 2020 during COVID. Just started studying everything that I could get my hands on, reading books, PDFs, YouTube videos. Um, I'm a teacher, so I just like to learn a lot. You see, my hair was super short back then, and this is when I first started trading gold. And again, I mess with it here and there, but mostly I don't. But I was always jealous of how much money other people made with gold. So yeah, I said I would give it a try. So here's a look at my week. Hold on, let me go back. I'm just gonna have to move this out the way, guys. Sorry. I'm gonna have to probably keep moving this. I don't know if I'm the only one looking at it. But look, I had a great week. This is only 3 days, guys. February 11th, February 12th, and February 13th. So I trade a couple of Forex pairs this week, EU, but mostly what you see is gold. XAU USD is how you can find it on TradingView. And then XAU USDT is how you can find it on Blowfin. So on the 11th, I just kind of dibbled and dabbed with it. I don't know if you guys can see this. You can see the date, which was, this says 210 on the 20th, February 10th. That was EU. But I touched and messed with gold, on the 11th. It was just $7.80 profit. But I was happy about that because, we celebrate all wins, even if they're small. And then this is like 94 cents. So my total was like $74.76. Not bad. And then the next day, I was like, okay, let's give gold another shot. So I only traded gold this day and I won $818. And that was like the most I ever won with gold. And then the next day on the 13th, I won a total of $1,480. I started getting comfortable with gold and I started getting into more and more trades and I increased my lot size. So I don't know if you can see over here on the 11th, it says buy zero point zero 0.01. So this is the amount of money that I was risking. This is what my lot size is or what my percentage is, just zero point zero 0.01. And that's a dollar. In gold, zero point zero 0.01 is a dollar. Over here, I was bold enough and confident enough to increase it to zero point 0.50. You can see the first one on the 12th was zero point zero 0.01, where I earned that $46.93. But then I was like, okay, I was pretty confident, guys. And so I increased my lot size to 0.50. And then that's when I started seeing the larger numbers because it doesn't take long at all to win and go. And again, it doesn't take long to lose on go. So you really got to be confident. You got to have your confirmations. You got to know what you're doing. So that's what I'm going to be showing you guys today. And before we get into the charts, I just want to show you the difference between bullish and bearish candles, and just the anatomy of the candle, and then the symmetrical triangle that helped me get into the trade. So with the bullish candle, price goes higher and higher, price moves higher and higher, which means the price of the whatever it is that you're trading gets higher and higher. So in this case, gold. It's getting People are buying more and more gold, and the price is becoming higher and higher because now there's more of a demand. So gold is a commodity, and it reacts strongly to inflation, expectations, interest rates, the strength of the U.S. dollar, and then geopolitical uncertainty. So when people have a scare, in the market, they tend to want to put their money in gold because it's something that's more secure. Gold has been around forever. But then when the dollar is strong, people are more willing to, get rid of some of that gold because they're not as scared anymore. So that's how gold works. So here you have this bullish candle, price opens. Uh, what? Hold on, open, close. Yeah, this came from Chat GPT. They got two opens right here. So I'm gonna just show you guys on the real market because I don't like how they have two opens. So we're gonna ignore those candles for right now. I just checked that. Over here we have the symmetrical triangle. As you can see, and this looks just like the chart, we have price going down, right? At the top, price is descending, and at the bottom, price is ascending. So that is called a symmetrical triangle. It's not really a bullish triangle and it's not really a bearish triangle. It's just a neutral triangle. And so when price jumps out or breaks out of the triangle, then that's when we know the direction of the trade. I think that's it for that one. So now let me get out of here and go back to the charts. All right. So explain this in just a second. So now what we want to do, the first thing we want to do when you get on the chart, and that is any chart, is you want to look at the direction of the trend. So we can see that this looks bullish. In fact, if we go back, this is the daily. If we go back to the weekly, we could just see that price is just buying up, buying up, buying up. Actually, that's where it begins right here. It doesn't even show us before January of 2022. But clearly we can see that price is just, I said I was going to involve you all. So what trend, what trend are we in? Are we in an uptrend or are we in a downtrend? Put it in the chat. Exactly, Mackenzie. We are in an uptrend. Yep, Paul. All right. So it's not hard to see that we are in an uptrend, right? So this is the first thing you want to do when you get to the chart. You want to identify the trend. Now we can scale down. We looked at the weekly, we looked at the daily. Either way, price is getting higher and higher and higher. So now we come to the 4 hour. And what is this called right here? So I'm just going to get this arrow. This right here. What is the name of this thing right here? These red candles. What is that called? Okay. Oh, I said bearish. It's a couple of different words. We are still in an uptrend, but in order to go up, we have to go down. So when price goes down, what is that called? Some people call it a retracement. What's another word for it? Pullback. That's right. Does this mean that we are automatically bearish now? No, because we saw that gold has been bullish since January of 2022. So we just in a retracement. So let's make this a little bit bigger. So yeah, we in a retracement right here, but we know overall we in a uptrend. So now that we're on the 4 hour, I went ahead and labeled, oh gosh, somebody's writing on the screen. If you can erase it, guys, be careful with that. I know it's easy to do, so just be careful with that. But right here, you can see that price has a resistance right here, and right here, and right here, right? All of these highs are pretty much equal, and over here. So that must be a pretty important place. So that's why I went ahead and took my rectangle and just mark that out. And I also added an alert. So last week I covered how to use TradingView. So if you haven't already, go back and watch that video. You can add an alert, but all you do is you can come to the exact price. You can come to the exact price, press this plus sign, and then you can say add an alert. So I'm going to be watching when price gets there. To delete it, you could just put it in the trash and say delete. So I already added my alert there. I don't know when it's going to happen, but I'm going to get notified on my phone when price breaks that because that's a very important place of resistance. We have, again, all of these. Price tried to go, even when it came up, it came back down and stopped right there. So whenever price kind of comes to a halt, you want to pay attention to that and you want to mark that on the chart. So even right here, this wick, you could grab your horizontal, you could put something right there. If you don't like the dashes, you could change it to a line. Or if you don't like the color, you could change it to whatever color you want. Same thing right here. Price came to a screeching halt, or at least it started there. But because price is way up here, guys, I'm not going to worry about those two because they're too far away from where I am. So now let's go down to the 1 hour. So let's review what we did. We identified the trend by going to the daily. We also went to the weekly, but you don't have to. So on the daily, we identified the trend. On the 4 hour, we noticed this pullback and we labeled this resistance right here. We would call that like a strong resistance because how many times? I'm here and talking. Can everybody make sure they're muted? Okay, all right, thank you. So we did the daily. Thank you for joining, everybody. We did the daily, we did the 4 hour, we noticed the pullback. Now let's go down to the hour. Right, over here where price is, this is how you kind of just enlarge the candles or either minimize the candles. So we came over here and on this 1 hour, we see this big bearish candle where price just dropped. I think I was in like somewhere over here, like waiting. Luckily, I was in the right direction. So I think that little dollar or $7, whatever I showed you guys earlier, I think that came from one of these red candles here. But then this drop happened. So when price makes this big impulse candle like that, it came down and formed a new lower low. And it also made something called a fair value gap. So we just want to take our rectangle and mark a fair value gap. What the fair value gap is the space between the first and third candle. So if we zoom in, you see that this green candle is candle one, this red candle is candle two, and this candle right here where my cursor is candle three. So there's a big gap between this green candle, the first one, and this third candle. So that told me that price was going to have to fill that gap because that's called an imbalance. It's an imbalance. Like the bears just came down and sold so fast that it didn't give buyers a chance to even get in. So price has to come back as you see that it did. Price had to come back here to fill that gap. Now that price is there, it could pretty much go back down again if it wanted to because it closed that gap. It could retrace and then it could continue down. I don't like that's black. I don't know why that's black. So I'm still covering TradingView a little bit. You just change the color and make it white. All right. So uh, now on gold, right? We just scaling down. We went from the daily to see the trend. We noticed the pullback on the 4 hour. We found our major resistance on the 4 hour as well. Now on this 1 hour, we see the fair value gap. Let's keep scaling down, right? Let's keep scaling down to like the 15-minute. I wanted to try to rewind all of this for you all, but for some reason, TradingView would not let me, even though I have the paid version and I'm supposed to be able to rewind. So I'll just show you if you don't believe me. He like, I don't know why he's telling me that when I have the paid version. It won't let me rewind. So I'm gonna see if I can just, I don't think it's gonna work, but I'm gonna see if I can erase, like block this. I'm gonna make it black and I'm gonna make the transparency like, okay, that kind of worked. And I still teaching you TradingView because to mess with the opacity or the transparency, you just come down here and do that. So none of this happened yet, guys, right? Oh my God. Why did it go off after I clicked off of it? Let me see again. I'm gonna just try it again. Let me see. If not, then you're just gonna have to pretend. Okay, so if I click off of it, Yeah. It's not gonna work. So pretend like you don't see none of that. I came down to the 15-minute and going back to the asymmetrical triangle, right? Because none of this happened. I'm gonna just get this vertical line. I think I was like right here when I got onto the charts. Let's see if I can hide that. Let's try to make it bigger. All right, just act like you don't see what's on my right of the screen. So I noticed that this was forming a triangle. Gosh. So I take my chin tool and we kind of just come down from there. Actually, I think I did this on the 5-minute. So again, all we doing, guys, is just scaling down. This is called top down analysis. Okay, so we did the bottom with our trend line, and then I just did this one. I'm gonna have to move the purple. It's not working, guys. It's too much. I don't like a lot going on. I don't like a lot going on the screen. So let's make this a little bit bigger, right? I'm getting to my point here. I'm showing you guys the triangle that I noticed, and I want to make it like the perfect size for me and for you all. So none of this happened yet outside this triangle. When price usually when these points happen, that is when price. Let me see, was it there? I think it was more, maybe like more here. Yeah, I think it was something like this. You could do this a couple of different ways, actually. So I'll show you another way after this one, but let me show you this way first. So I noticed that price was getting very close to this triangle. We seen here, we know this is our pullback. We know that we are in an uptrend. We can see that price was formed a lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, right? So price is going down as it should because we're not bearish, but we're in a pullback. But then the problem is, right? The reason we know that there's about to be a change is because these lows are not getting lower. A traditional uh, downtrend will look like this. Price would form. So hold on, I messed this one up. Okay. So this is your traditional downtrend. Let me fix this after I'm done. So each point will be getting lower and lower. You have your lower high. Let me fix this. Hold on. Let me fix these, please. 1 second. Keep scooting this over. Get it right. Okay. This is your traditional downtrend. You have your, now that's it. Why is the text black? I'm up here to text. I don't know why the colors are changing on me today. I don't tip. Why would I write? I think it's because I usually have my white background. So if you want to change the color, you come up here. You can change it to a white thing. It just depends on my mood. Sometimes I have the white screen. Sometimes I have the black screen, but that got to be the reason why the text is black. Let me go back. Okay, so you got your lower high, and then you have your lower low, lower low, lower high again. I know you see me do this before, but I'm telling you, it's like you see this over and over and over, but sometimes you still just don't get it until you actually get it. So a traditional downtrend, you would just keep seeing these stair stepping going down. This is lower than this. This lower low is lower than this. This one is lower than this. This one is lower than this. And that is what a typical downtrend looks like. But over here, we don't see that, do we? We don't see these lows getting lower because it's not even lower than this where this wick is. It's actually getting higher. So that's why I said I noticed that price was descending at the top, but ascending at the bottom. And again, this is called a symmetrical triangle. So now we want to wait for price to come out or break out of the triangle. We don't want to trade inside of the triangle because, price can fake us out. It's risky. It's a lot of wicks. And so we want to wait for price to break out. So right here, we saw that price broke out of the triangle. So this would have been, was that black too? Did I just draw a black triangle that you can't see? I just drew something. Gosh, I might have to go back to my white. I'm trying to get the arrow to show that price broke out right there. Then what did it do? It came over here and retested. This is another, if you didn't get in here, because again, this is asymmetrical triangles are neutral. So you wouldn't have really known if it was going to break out from the top or if it was going to break out from the bottom. So you might not have been ready, but it's okay because we really want to be more safe and wait on that retest anyway. So it's okay if you don't miss. If you do miss where price breaks out from. So price broke out to the top, and then it came down and it retested this level. So you can kind of see that there is a level there. I'm starting to get to the point where I don't need the lines, but I'm gonna just grab this horizontal line anyway and put a mark right here, maybe make it dash. Okay, so we can kind of see price respected these levels over here, or you could draw if you didn't like if you don't like straight lines and you're more of a zone person, you can get a rectangle and then just draw a zone right here. Oh my gosh, why is it black? I do not have black rectangles. Like, okay, now I got to turn the opacity down, and I'm still teaching trading, you guys. Okay, so anyway, see how price respected this level? I told you I kind of pay attention to wicks. So over here, that wick stopped right there, played around right here. It held that support right here. And, so price broke out of the symmetrical triangle, came back, retested. This is where you could have got in, guys, right here after the retest. This is where we could have got in for the buy. And then, so we in a buy now. Price is heading up. We still have to pay attention. So on gold, you can't just like walk away. I mean, you could set a stop loss and all that. I could go over that. But now we want to pay attention because I'm telling you guys, I was in and out those trades so fast. You see how many times I was in. And so now to watch what's going on, we're going to go down all the way to the 1 minute. So here is the 1 minute time frame. All right. Like I was just in and out, in and out, in and out. But we know that because earlier on the 4 hour time frame, we saw that fair value gap, right? Now look how huge it looks on the 1 minute. And it looks way smaller on like the 1 hour or the 4 hour. But most likely price is going to head to where this rectangle is, where this fair value gap is, because price has to close that huge imbalance that we saw. So let me just scale scale out a little bit and label this. Price has to close all of this. So let's label this fair value gap or F value gap or FVG for short. And so it may not look like it's a lot going on, but with gold, it is a lot going on. It depends on your account size. If you could just stay here from this where price retraced to and where you know it's going all the way to the top of this fair value gap. It depends on your account size. With gold, you have to be very smart. I told you I blew accounts, so that's why I was in and out, in and out. And so we see the pullbacks throughout here. So again, depending on your account, you might have been able to stay in and just stay in and just let price go all the way up. But we can see these red areas. And this one little bitty candle like this can cost you like $300. So let me show you how gold works if you're not familiar. Let's look at a big candle, then we'll look at a small candle. So what you do is grab your measuring tool and just measure it. Just measure one candle. So this candle says, what? Okay. Y'all know I hate math. I hope you know by now. I keep talking about it, but I really hate math. I like words, guys. But this says 15,627. So this is actually, if you would have stayed or got in this trade from the bottom of this retest to the top of this candle, that could have won you 100. Is it $156? Yeah, $156.27. I'm so used to like, I'm coming from the Forex background. So for example, if I was to go to GB, which is Great British Pound, so on Forex pairs, it's measured in terms of pips. I'm on the 1 minute, so that's why everything look weird. So let's do the same thing with one of these Forex candles. We just take our measuring tool and go up. Well, I was trying to do the blue one, but that looked like. So this is 4.3. So if I was in this trade for $1, I would have won $4.30. But with gold, it's just a little bit different. It's measured in percentages and not in pips and not in ticks. I think most of us trade in, I gotta move this out the way to get back. Most of us trade in ticks or percentages. All right, let me see where I was now. I'm kind of lost now. Let me zoom out. Okay, I was like, what is all this? Let me erase some of this stuff. I got a lot going on here. So yeah, you want to. My point is, you want to watch gold on the 1 minute time frame. So let's go back to the 1 minute time frame. It's just a lot when you scale down because you got to keep scrolling left, keep scrolling left. All right, here we are. Back to our breakout. And so now we've made it to the top of our fair value gap. With the fair value gap, it may not go all the way to the top. So when we see that this long bearish candle that forms here, price may not come all the way back here, but most times it does. So let me show you another option that price could do. Let me just get a writing space here. These colors today, but I guess that's right. Green and red candle together. You could change that also in TradingView.
Hey, go ahead and move it.
Okay. So this is your typical, this is your fair value gap here. Or let me actually draw some wicks first. You may have a wick right here at the bottom of this candle, and then you have a wick right here on that candle. Let me scoot this down. Mm. Oh my God. Okay, so the space between the wicks, again, are the fair value gap. So let's label this fair value gap. And I gotta press mute again, find out who's talking. All right, 1 second. Okay. Hold on, let me plug up this computer. Because my computer will just not give me any warning and it will just die. Yes, you can see fair value gaps on the 15-minute time frame, the 5-minute time frame, the 1-minute time frame. They're everywhere, guys. But when you place in your stop loss, I see somebody had a question. Would you do take profit and stop loss? When you place in your stop loss and your take profit, you don't use the 1 minute for that because they'll be too tight. Your stop loss and your take profit will be too tight. So when you're doing your stop loss and take profit, you zoom back out and go back up to like maybe the 15-minute or again, an hour, depending on your account size. But you want to zoom back out when you're doing your stop loss and your take profit. Okay, am I still? Where did everything go now? Am I still sharing my screen or do you guys see me? I done got lost where I was. Am I still sharing my screen? Do you guys still see TradingView or do you see me?
We can see the screen.
Yeah, we can see both.
Okay, I gotta find it then. Oh wow, this is weird. Let me minimize this. Mm. Okay, I'm sorry. There we go. All right, I was explaining the fair value gap. So it is the gap between the first and third candle. So price may come, what I'm trying to explain. Price may come to, and this isn't very wide. I probably could have made it wider, but what is happening? Why can't I type anything? What is happening? Why is it not letting me? You know what? This is, sorry, I'm pressing on these tools and it's not responding to me. I don't know if I did something wrong. Let me stop sharing real quick and I'm gonna try to go back. Because I'm like, where is my screen? Nope, I think I was over here. Okay, now. Okay. All right, I got it now. Sorry, guys. Now I gotta find you all again. This is doing a lot. I need to make this stuff easier. Mm, mm, mm. Okay, so price could come up here and just come to right underneath where the fair value gap starts, and then it could continue down and continue that downtrend if it was a downtrend, or it could come to the 50% mark. So I don't know if you, in a previous video, I talked about, and I'm gonna change the color on this in a second so you can see that it's different. In a previous video, I talked about this tool right here called the GAN box, and you would just want to mark the bottom to the top of the GAN box. And do you see the 50% level? I know it's a little bit small. Let me zoom in. But price could come to the 50%. Scoot over. This thing is tripping today. Price could come to the 50% mark. Why is it? Oh my gosh, guys. Or it could come all the way to the top, in which case this one did. This gold came all the way to the top. I was talking to my best friend Chris. He was selling the market, as it went down, and I'm like, it's not a bearish market. He was just like, I don't care, I don't care. You have you have those people that go on against the trend that are risk takers. He's always been a risk taker, but for me, I'm a little bit more of a safer trader. So, um, he was making sales and he was winning too, but that's why I said it depends on your account size. I just got to keep saying that. So with gold, you might just want to practice on paper trade or practice on demo before you actually play around with it. But it continued to be bullish overall, and it continued to close that. Um, it closed and went all the way to the top of the fair value gap. So my prediction, remember we put this we labeled this strong resistance right here. My prediction is that price is going to continue to be bullish, go up to uh that resistance level, and then just continue going up. So I'll tell you why I think that in a minute, but this is what I think is going to happen. I think it's going to, just continue to climb up, climb up, climb up, climb up, break that resistance level that it did not break before, come down and retest it. So if you do miss the breakout, if you're not a breakout trader, that's fine. You, it's the safe thing to do is be a retest trader anyway. So I think price is just going to do that. So now let me scale back out again and show you why I think. Well, you already know why. I just said we found that support level, but some of you came in late. So let me go back. Um, just delete some stuff. I'm gonna go back to the asymmetrical triangle too. I'm not done talking about that. But earlier, when we were on the 1 hour, we saw that this blue area here was a strong resistance level. Price tried to go above it over here, which was what, February 26th. If you look at the bottom, you can see the date. February 26th, it came, did not break above it, came back down right here, February, I guess it's the same day. Were we on the hour? Yeah, February 26th. This one, it did break above it, but came back in. Now we're on February 11th. It's just been a strong resistance level. But I think, usually it takes about 3 or 4 tries for price to break out of something. So now this is like 1, 2, 3, 4. I think this time it's actually going to break out and go above this support level, at least to here. So we would kind of get our horizontal tool, mark either the wick or mark the body. I think that's where price could go. But I don't know if you could call that a prediction, but that's what I'm going to be looking for it to do this week when the market opens. Because, gold is closed right now. That's why we don't see anything happening. It's not going to open up until Sunday around 5 o'clock. But I don't know. If I do, maybe I'll put a signal in the group. I haven't done that yet. Maybe I'll put a signal in the group if this happens. But I have my alert set. This white dash line, if you came in late, I set an alert for when price goes above this. I think it's just going to continue to be bullish. I mean, again, going back to the 4 hour, actually going back to the daily, we know that it's been bullish since, you know, January of 2022. So why wouldn't it continue to be bullish now, especially with the US dollar being what it is, the interest rates, um, inflation, and everything else? People are wanting to put their trust in something that they can believe in. And if that's usually gold and silver. And I want to show you guys something else before I go to questions. You know, price is fractal. I used to hear that and I'm like, what does that mean? Price is fractal. I showed you I've been doing this since 2020, not consistently, but I've been trading since 2020. And so I've heard these same terminology over and over and over, but now I feel like it's just now really hitting me and I'm really understanding. Okay, I don't know what these green lines are, but all right. So in the same way that you saw me draw that symmetrical triangle before, look at what we have here on the daily. Another one. You take your trend line. We got price coming down, right? Then we go to the bottom. We got same thing we had before coming up. I can close this in a little better. Let me close this in a little bit better and zoom in a little bit. But guess what, guys? We have the same exact thing because price is fractal. That means whatever is happening um, on the larger time frame is happening on a smaller time frame. Whatever is happening on a smaller time frame is happening on a larger time frame. It's all connected, as they say. Everything is connected. So we can expect, right? We probably have another. This is the daily candle. So we probably will see one more day inside of this triangle. But then, because I'm saying that I have a bias of being bullish, I think price is going to break out of this symmetrical triangle, retest that strong resistance level that we saw before, and continue to head up. How far can it head up? It can head up to where it's been before at the price. Oh, don't do that. Let me just do that again. But you tell me, and I'm giving you a hint right now with my cursor. You put it in the chat. Where can price head up to? Where can price head up to? Put the number, put the price in the chat. You should be able to see it. $5,600. Yeah, they're about 5,600. So we think price is going to do the same thing, break out of this symmetrical triangle, come down and retest like we saw on a smaller time frame. I mean, it might, take a couple uh tries, I guess, for lack of a better word. But definitely I think it's going to head up as well to about 5,600. Good job. So this is what we can be looking out for next week. Like I said, I don't know if it's Sunday. Sunday not many people trade, so it could happen Monday. I don't know. I don't know. But what are your questions, guys? We just went over gold. What made me profitable this week? I made like $2,500 on this strategy that I showed you guys. Looking at this symmetrical triangle, having my bias, seeing that it's a bullish market, but gold, it is not nothing to play with. It's what questions do you all have about what I went over today? Is it making sense? Is it easy to understand? Are you all following? But like I said, you can do this on other. Oh no, I'm not loud. Okay, Wes, I'll turn my volume all the way up. Okay, Aya, sorry you was late, but don't worry. I don't understand. Okay, it's okay. It's gonna take time. How long have you been trading? Oh, okay, first days. I'm just watching. Yeah, how would you set up stop loss, take profit? Okay, I'll go back and show that. Yeah, you just gotta be patient with yourself. You know, I when I started in 2020, I was trying to learn everything. Now I advise against that. Now I say just learn one thing and practice that one thing for like 6 months. I did show a strategy on equal highs, equal lows. Just learn one strategy and just keep doing it until you bored of making money from that strategy. But welcome. I'm glad you gotten started on your trading journey, AO, and everyone else that's here. So let me go back to the charts. Someone said to show take profit and stop loss. I saw a question, but I just missed it. It won't show me the questions at the same time. I have the chart up. Oh, what helped you get over the stress of seeing your money go down in real time? I know it's psychological, but it still caused me. Oh, definitely. Let me tell you guys. Thank you for asking that question, Mackenzie. So I had a real blockage financially until recently. So I used to have a business where I would make $10,000 a month in my good months. And that scared me. I would see those 5 digits in my bank account and I would feel like I'm unworthy of the money. So what would I do? I would go spend it. I'm giving it away. I'll bless somebody and thinking I'm doing a good thing. But I had to get over that. I was like, okay, if you're gonna be a person that's a profitable trader, you cannot have this financial blockage. Like, what is going on? You gotta deal with this first. So I actually went to ChatGPT, you guys. I don't know if you all use ChatGPT, but it became my psychologist, Mackenzie. So I went to ChatGPT and I was like, I have this issue with money. It's like I get scared when I have a lot of money, even though I'm working hard for it. I don't like help me understand this about myself. And it was like, and it didn't take long at all. It was as if it had known me since I was a child. It was like, you are comfortable with struggle and you are comfortable with stress because you have been living a life of struggle for so long that when you get money or when things are going well, when you have peace in your life, it feels weird. And I was like, oh my God. I'm getting to the question that you asked me. But I was like, I knew I had to get over. Yes, definitely save me. Chat GPT is worth the $20 a day, $20 a month. If you have the free version, that's fine. I had the free version for a long time, but the paid version is better because I'm always on it. Um, but yeah, it was just like, even how I told you guys, me learning, studying all the time, they told me, Chat GPT told me that was my way of just running from responsibility. And I'm like, running from, like, oh my God, I'm running from responsibility. It was like, you need to like lock, how the kids say, lock in. It's time for you to lock in. So I'm like, okay, I'm not learning nothing else. I'm going to apply what I know. I'm going to lock in and I'm going to hold myself accountable and have responsibility for my behavior and everything that I'm learning. And shortly after that, you see where I was able to profit from $2,500 off of gold, mind you, $2,500 off of gold. So yes, when I was in the trade, there's something called drawdown for those of you that are new, and that is you going into a negative state before you go into a positive state. And so trading is very psychological. We're going to talk, I'm talking to you a little bit about it right now. And Mackenzie, you used the word psychological in your question. Trading is very psychological. It's going to tell you more about yourself than your spouse. Because if you are a person that is scared, you getting out that trade. And if you are a person that's confident, like my friend Chris, he's like jumping in with 2 feet. So it's going to just mess with you mentally. So, yes, before I saw the gains, it was like you saw guys on the charts where price all those red candles, and I was going down into the negative $700, $800, 1,200. Even one time went down $2,000, and it didn't really mess with me like it would have before ChatGPT because I knew I was going in the right direction. I knew price was bullish. We saw that it's been bullish since 2022. So when you have your confidence and when you have your confirmations, the fair value gap confirmation, the retest confirmation, right? When you have your confirmations and you know the trend, now it's like, okay, it's cool. It's just retracing. I know it's going back up and it brings up your confidence. But yeah, it messed with me like a little bit psychologically to see my account negative $2,700, but it came right back up just as fast. So just as fast as it was like negative 300, negative five. I wasn't really tripping when it was like negative 300 because it stayed there for so long. But then it started saying negative 500, negative 700, negative 800, negative 12. And it went all the way down one time to negative 20, 2,300. But I wasn't really shaking. So that's why I said gold is not a joke. You have to, you know, like you can't trade gold with $300 in your account. You have to have like five, I would say 1,000, because of those drawdowns. But it didn't really scare me. And I had a $2,500 week. It's not even really a week. It was like 3 days because I knew I was right. So hopefully, did that answer your question, Mackenzie? Yes, yes. All right. Let me go back to the charts. This is the last thing, guys. I know it's 3 o'clock. We've been on for about an hour. If I can get to the chart. Sure. All right. Going back to the 1 minute, right? Because we want to scale down. Well, we'll go to the 1 minute, then let's go to 15. Let's go to 15. Trying to find where I got in before. So 1 second, let me see the triangle. Because remember we had the larger asymmetrical triangle. I keep saying asymmetrical, but it's really just symmetrical. We had the larger triangle, but before that we had the smaller one. I can't have too much stuff on the screen, so I'm deleting the larger symmetrical triangle. And let's grab our trend line to go back and redraw the top. None of this stuff outside of that happened yet. So if I was getting in this trend, all you do is we're going long, right? So you will take your long position, mark it where you got in. Maybe let's just say we got in at the retest, right? On this gray line where price retested. We know that price has to at least come to the top of this fair value gap. We know it went all the way through, but we know it's going to, we're just going to start there. And as far as the stop loss, we want to put it underneath it can be here, which is underneath this right here, this low, or we can put it underneath this low on the left, underneath this low. But so that gives us a 2.54 risk to reward ratio, which I talked about in a previous video. I'm risking, $100 to make $250. And we were correct in the trend. So that's where you would do the stop loss. Whatever the closest last low is, you would drag your this stop loss. That's a little far actually. It could actually be here to be on the safe side, or since I don't since it already retested, it's not going to likely come below our retest zone where the gray horizontal line is. So look at that. When we scooted it up, that just made it a 15.6 risk to reward ratio. So now, again, I'm risking, I hate math. I'm risking $1 or $10 to make $150, whatever the math is. I got to go back to ChatGPT and talk about the math because I'm an English teacher. So yeah, our stop loss could be either under this low or under this low. Now it says 17, but it's good odds no matter what. It's good odds. All right, guys, I just wanted to go over with you how to trade gold. But like I said, you can apply it to any trade. You can just draw that symmetrical triangle, watch for the breakout up or down, wait for the retest, and then hop in. Any other questions, guys? You're welcome. You're welcome, guys. I hope you guys got value out of today's lesson. We're going to post this video on Cryptosaxguy YouTube channel. I hope he used a different thumbnail. I was joking earlier telling Mackenzie and the ones that were on before too. I told my son to stop using my face as the thumbnail. Yes, we have lessons every Saturday just like this. I'm thinking about doing one on Monday too, guys, because one, it's a holiday. I don't have to go to work. And for two, we want to watch and see what Go's going to do. Maybe we can get in something together. So be on the lookout for that in the Telegram to see if we're going to hop on the charts Monday. What time would that be? I guess New York session 9:30. So yeah, that'd be great, Paul. All right, guys. I appreciate you for getting on. I hope you enjoy the rest of your Valentine's Day. I love you all for hopping on here and for being a part of Crypto Sax Guys trade. You can find me on the Telegram under Miss K. I'm Crypto's mom. I do have, I am working on, one more thing, sorry. I am working on, I do these lessons, of course, every Saturday, but I'm working on starting my own private lessons. So you just prompted me to remember that. This is my website that I'm working on, guys. So you could come here. It's not finished yet. It's not even published yet, but this is what I'm working on for those of you that are interested in private lessons. See, he used my face for all these thumbnails, but it's not quite ready yet. But for now, just, contact me on Telegram under Miss K. Now, how do I get out of this? All right, guys. I'm going to hop off. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day. You all take care. Be blessed. Okay, I was going to say this thing didn't record because it's telling me to record now. All right. Take care, guys.